Next on NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
On this week's special edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman, our favorite recipes from Chef Michelle Mussel.
And now, NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman with host Kevin Oxner.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. I'm Kevin Oxner. Thanks for joining us. What's better than a great beef meal? Let's get some of the details on our favorite beef recipes with Chef Michelle Mussel. What's better on a cold winter night than a hot bowl of soup? Joining me with a great recipe for beefy French onion soup is Chef Michelle Mussel. Michelle, thanks for coming back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, tell us what you got here today.
Well, I'm going to put together for you probably one of the easiest versions of French onion soup.
Outstanding.
You know, French onion soup's one of those soups that you labor over for hours and hours, and it's worth it in the end, but it's very time consuming.
Right.
So I'm going to show the audience how to get that same great flavor in a real simple, easy to do recipe.
With a beef twist.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, what do we start with?
So first I'm going to start off with a pound of 95% lean ground beef.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
We're going to make this a lean recipe.
Okay.
And I'm just going to brown it in a nonstick skillet. This will just take about 8 to 10 minutes.
Gotcha. Yep. Got her sizzling now. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Let's stick this down here.
You're not going to melt that.
No, actually, this is such a great utensil that's out there right now. Instead of, you notice it's a nonstick skillet, so I don't want to use metal on here.
Oh, okay.
And you could use a wooden spoon.
Gotcha.
But with ground beef, I like to use something that is non-porous. And this is a heat-resistant spatula. So it can take almost anything.
It looks plastic. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a great spatula.
Brown that beef.
So I'm going to brown this.
Yeah, I mean, French onion soup is one of the things I've had at restaurants, but, you know, we've never fixed it at home.
Oh, it's one of those really decadent soups.
Yeah.
So we're almost done.
Wow.
So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside.
Okay.
Because, of course, I have some already browned up.
Hey, how do you like that? In TV land, we've got ground beef, right?
So I'm just going to set this aside.
All right. But once again, we brown it until we have clear liquid, just as we've always talked, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I've done was I've taken this pound of ground beef.
Okay.
I've drained any juices that might be left over. There's going to be very little oil, if any at all, in 95% lean. But there will be a little bit of extra juices that I just drained away.
Drain off. Yep.
Okay. So I've got my ground beef here.
Okay.
And to this I'm going to add 2 cans of condensed French onion soup.
Perfect. That's easy.
How easy can it get?
Yeah.
So this will have all those great condensed flavors. You know, the onions, the garlic, the rich beef broth. So I'm going to go ahead and add both of these. And then you've got to reconstitute this because you're using a condensed
soup. Yeah.
So I'm just going to add the equivalent of 2 cans of water.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to pour this right in. Again, they make it really easy for you.
Sure. Measuring stick.
Exactly.
Measuring cup. Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and do this.
This is looking pretty easy so far.
Yeah. And the nice thing about this is that you can heat this up, do it on the stove, but then you could keep it warm in a crock pot.
Okay.
And just have it for, like, you know, game day.
Gotcha.
You know, just
come in for lunch, you bet.
To this, I'm also going to add a half teaspoon of dry thyme.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm using dry thyme in this, so I'm going to add it in my liquid while it's simmering.
So what's the difference? I don't understand.
So when you're using a dried spice, you always want to add that toward the beginning of cooking. I'm going to turn this up a little bit because you need to rehydrate it. And that actually that's also what we call blooming. Okay. So you're opening up the spice and imparting its flavor. Another way of doing that too is you can saute it in a little bit of olive oil or your favorite oil, and that'll do it as well.
Really?
Now if you have fresh thyme on hand, or you prefer to use fresh thyme, you've got it in your garden, some people have indoor gardens, then that's when you want to add it at the end. Any kind of fresh herb you want to add right at the end, so that it really imparts its freshness.
And if I have no time on hand, I'm just go ahead.
You don't have time for this, that's a problem.
Okay, all right.
So here I'm going to bring this up to a boil, let it simmer for a while, just a little bit, not even, maybe like 15, 20 minutes max.
Gotcha.
So this is all set. Now, of course, what is French onion soup without a cheese crouton.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what we've got here, I've got really nice French bread slices with just some really pre-sliced Swiss cheese.
Perfect.
Couldn't get any easier than that.
Okay.
Okay. And then
don't put that in the toaster, right?
No, don't put that in the toaster.
Okay.
But you're going to end up putting it on a sheet tray, and you're going to just broil it real quick in your oven.
Okay.
So of course I already have some done.
Absolutely, that's good.
So I'm going to show you what that's like.
All right, what that looks like.
So if you notice,
outstanding.
It gets all nice and bubbly and kind of toasty brown, and so you've got a little bit of crunch and a little bit of the soft,
cheese,
melty, salty cheese.
Yeah.
It goes perfect with the French onion soup.
And this is what we end up with as a result. Is that right?
Yeah,
looks delicious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you want to try it?
Well, you know what? I will try a little bit of it. Okay. That looks pretty good.
Tell me what
doesn't
you
it?
think.
Okay.
Tell me if it's as good as you had in a restaurant.
I do like that. Yeah. I like that a lot.
Excellent.
I'm a huge fan of French onion soup, so I didn't realize it was that easy.
Yeah.
For details on this and other great beef recipes, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.
Purina's wind and rain minerals are research tested and field proven to provide balanced mineral nutrition essential for cattle health, growth, and reproduction. They're highly palatable so cattle consume what they need when they need it. And wind and rain mineral special formulation resists the elements so they won't blow out of the feeder and maintain their palatability even if they've been wet. Wind and rain cattle minerals from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
Quality matters to us because we're entrusted with the safe transportation of animals. Those animals can represent generations of hard work. It's up to us to deliver the goods that drive the beef industry. We link all the segments of the beef industry together, passing the torch of quality from one business to the next. Consumers count on us to bring the quality that starts on the family ranch to their home. I'm proud of what we'll do here today.
Your older utility tractor's never been worth more. Come into your John Deere dealer and we'll custom make a deal just for you. Cash discounts, 0% financing. Either way, we'll give you a great deal and put you in a new John Deere 20 to 140 horsepower utility tractor. Stop by your John Deere dealer today and see why John Deere quality has never been easier to own. Offer ends July 31st. Offer subject to approved credit on John Deere credit installment plan. See dealer for details.
I'd like a moment with you cow-calf folks to talk about BQA, the Beef Quality Assurance Program. BQA has been designed to reduce bruises, blemishes, lamenesses, and impolite behavior in the calf shoe market. The point is to guarantee as best we can to our buyers and to consumers that we cattlemen know what we're doing, that we're treating our animals right, and the meat they buy is safe and wholesome. Now, most of the big feedlots and ranchers have signed on already, but that leaves the rest of us, and even if you only have 20 cows and a job in town, you need to be involved. Because every calf you sell is going to wind up on a plate someday, and we want our customers, all of them, to have a great dining experience, right? BQA helps furnish you with management tools and useful information to increase the value of your calves. So check it out at bqa.org and see what it takes to be involved in your state, because it's the right thing to do.
Your stocker operation is a pack-on-the-pounds enterprise where your goal is to get the animals to the feed yard fast. Every minute counts as you battle the weather, livestock genetics, and health issues. Now there's a powerful new dual-action therapy for your doctoring crew that shares your need for fast action. Restflor Gold. Ask your veterinarian about Restflor Gold. See improvement in as few as 6 hours with Restflor Gold.
Welcome back. It's a recipe that's sure to hit the spot when you and your family have worked up a big appetite. Joining us in the studio today is Chef Michelle Mussel. Michelle, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me again.
Hey, tell us what kind of sandwich you're working on here.
I'm going to put together a braised eye-round sandwich. It's a garlic, tomato, basil toasted sandwich. It is so good.
All things I like.
Yeah, it's got fresh basil, fresh tomatoes, garlic,
That's
mayonnaise, all the good stuff that put together. First thing I'm going to start off with is about 1.5 pounds of eye-round steak. Okay. For the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to take the one steak. Sure. Here, just one eye round. Yep. And I'm going to, I've got 2 teaspoons of garlic here.
Okay.
And to that I'm going to add just a little bit of my black pepper.
Pepper, all right.
So I'm gonna make this into a rub for the steak.
Oh, okay. Outstanding. And then just press it.
I'm gonna press it to the outside of the steak.
Outstanding. Just garlic and pepper, pretty
real
simple.
simple. Real simple.
Okay.
So just do some of this.
Yeah.
Just kind of spread it around like that.
Outstanding. It smells good.
Yeah, doesn't it?
I love garlic.
Okay, so we've got that all set.
Okay.
So I'm going to.
And you do that typically to both sides.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So actually, an easy trick that I like to do is I'm going to go ahead and place this in my hot nonstick skillet.
Sure.
Okay. Like this.
Left side down. Yeah.
So while this is browning,
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and add rub to my other side.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Yep.
that way,
even faster.
to me it's faster and kind of it's actually less messy. I'm not handling the meat, and
That's true.
yeah, and then I don't have to necessarily wash my hands in between. And
Right. Good point.
so it works just fine.
Okay.
And then while this is browning,
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and make our garlic basil mayonnaise.
All right.
Okay. So I've got a 1/2 cup of reduced fat mayonnaise.
Ah, healthy.
Okay.
Yep.
It's very much so. It's a lot lighter than regular mayonnaise,
Okay.
and you really
Don't
can't tell the difference. So I've got that. I'm going to add to that a 1/4 cup of freshly chiffonade basil.
I won't even attempt to say that. All right.
So I'm going to just add that to it.
But I remember how you did that. You rolled the basil
absolutely.
Leaves up and cut them. That was
You're a
pretty
quick
neat.
study.
I'm telling you. Gotta learn this yet.
And then I'm going to add to this just a teaspoon of minced garlic here. And you can back off or add more depending on how much garlic you like.
I like a lot of garlic, so
I'm
that's
just going
good
to mix
stuff.
this up.
Gotcha.
I'm actually going to season this with a little bit of pepper too.
Okay.
I like a little pepper in my mayonnaise.
You bet.
So. Okay. Now
And
this
how many
step,
sandwiches will that make then?
This will make 4 sandwiches. Actually, about 6.
About 6 sandwiches.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. Okay.
So while this is, I'm going to go ahead and check this.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of browning going on.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Medium heat, thereabouts?
About medium.
Okay.
And this will take just a couple minutes on each side, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of water.
Oh,
Because I'm
okay.
actually going to braise this cut.
Okay.
Okay, this cut needs a little bit of gentle heat. Braising allows the fibers in the steak or a roast like that to break down.
Really?
And it's actually tenderizing.
Okay.
I'm just going to add a little bit of this to the skillet. You don't want to add too much liquid.
Water. Okay. You're not going to cover it or anything, just enough to kind of...
I am going to cover it.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I would go ahead and put 4 of my steaks in
the
here.
skillet. Yep.
Yep. And I would cover it
Okay.
and turn my heat down to low.
I see.
Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside.
Okay.
Because
The
of
magic
course,
of TV.
I already have steaks already braised for you.
Outstanding. You're always prepared.
So got that.
All right.
Okay, so, and now this garlic mayonnaise, you can actually do it a day ahead.
Oh, okay.
And
Put
it
in the
would
refrigerator.
actually be better because it gets more intensified.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to remove this out of our way.
Sure.
And what I'm going to do is then with this, I'm going to spread.
Oh, it becomes a sandwich spread then. I see.
Absolutely.
You don't put it on the meat. Gotcha.
Yep, nope, you don't put it on the meat. So I'm going to
Gotcha.
spread this on my
Okay.
roll,
Yep.
both sides.
Smells great.
This. And I'm actually then going to broil this.
Oh, okay.
So what you're going to do is create just kind of a hot spread, and it's
Really?
going to just kind of melt it into the bread.
Oh, wow.
a little
Okay.
bit. So of course, as you know, as a magic of TV, you know I have some in the broiler
Absolutely.
already for you.
That's
so I'm going
right.
to go grab those right now.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, wait till you smell them.
Wow. That's kind of bubbled up almost like cheese.
Yep. Doesn't that smell
Those
great?
are delicious. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
So to this, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to set this aside, actually.
Okay.
Get this out of my way.
Now we're going to slice our beef.
Yep.
And
Yep. I'm going to
That's
take
great.
one of my
Oh.
steaks.
that smells great. I
So
love
these-
garlic and basil.
So these have been braised. They're nice and
Braised.
tender.
Okay.
And again, this is a really lean cut,
Yes.
so it makes a really great sandwich. So I'm going to actually slice this across the grain.
Okay.
Now, not only have I braised this to tenderize it, you always want to slice beef across the grain.
Gotcha. Makes it easier to look at that. That looks tender.
And I'm actually gonna slice it about 1/4 of an inch thick.
Okay.
I don't want it too thick, but I also don't want it too thin.
Right. That's great.
Does
Nice
this look
and
delicious?
Pink. That looks great. Yeah. I suppose you could use any other cut. I mean, steak if you wanted to as well.
Oh yeah, and actually this is a perfect sandwich to use any leftover steak.
Right. Perfect.
So if you've had just a great T-bone and you had the strip steak part, but you have the tenderloin left,
perfect.
slice up that tenderloin and put it on this sandwich.
Great lunch recipe.
So I'm going to go ahead and take one side of this.
Okay.
I'm going to lay. Actually, I'm going to start with some tomatoes. I'm going to give it a little bit of a base. So I'm going to add some color.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay out my tomatoes here.
Tomatoes are good and healthy.
And then I'm going to add my beef.
Good lean eye around beef steak. That's perfect.
Oops.
It'll stand
it's
up there.
A little wobbly. And then I'm going to pull from my bowl here some really great fresh basil leaves.
You're gonna
so this is actually
exactly.
It's going to emphasize that fresh basil flavor even more.
That's great.
So just lay that across.
It does look like a great sandwich.
I'm going to put my lid back on here.
Look at that, a hearty sandwich. And
oh my gosh, yes.
This is what we have when we get all done, it looks like, while you're cutting that one, huh?
Yep, super colorful.
Oh, yeah.
Delicious, it smells great.
That's outstanding. It does smell absolutely wonderful.
This slice this here. That help me out?
How's that? Yeah. Nice and warm. I'm going to try that. That just smells great.
So what do you think?
That is outstanding.
Yeah.
This is going to be a recipe at Kersey, Colorado. That really is good.
Yeah, I imagine any guest that would come over to your house would definitely demand that recipe.
I love that. For details on this great recipe, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. This is absolutely wonderful.
Before you head out here, get ready at Cabela's, your source for the hottest new gear at tough-to-beat prices. Save big on everything you need when you shop by catalog, stores, and online at Cabela's.com. Our legendary selection is field-tested and field-proven. You can trust our gear. Cabela's, world's foremost outfitter.
You take pride in the beef you raise. Countless hours invested to assure a safe and wholesome calf crop. Why trust that calf crop to just anyone? Experience the new Dinklage difference. With a long history and reputation for outstanding performance and cattle care. We use a combination of cutting-edge technologies and data-driven decision-making to establish our place as leaders in the cattle feeding industry. Allow Dinklage to be a part of your team in the quest to maximize your profits. With 5 locations to serve you in Wyoming, Nebraska, and Colorado. For more information on the new Dinklage difference, stop by one of our yards or visit us on the web at dinklagefeedyards.com.
2 100% pure USDA inspected patties are only the beginning of what make the Big Mac famous, and that's what we're made of.
Quality matters to me because I love my family. I want to raise my family here like generations before me. My family has always worked together and played together. We have always laughed together and cried together. My family is my life. Careful stewardship of the animals and resources that are under my care benefits my family. They live where I work and eat the same food that I produce. I'm proud of what we'll do here today.
These days, more cattlemen choose Draxxin to fight BRD than any other brand. Here's why.
It works. We have fewer repulls, and the ones that we do repull respond, and we have fewer chronics in the end.
To retreat anything it's a lot more expensive than using Draxxin as a first time.
And the evidence backs up what most cattlemen already know. Draxxin cuts retreats by 50%. So talk to your veterinarian and check the online calculator at Draxxin.com. You'll see why Draxxin should be your first choice to fight BRD.
Basically what it's allowed us to do with our operation is run more cattle through in a given period of time. It's just really been a good product to use.
Do not use in female dairy cattle 20 months of age or older. Do not use in calves to be processed for veal. Draxxin has a pre-slaughter withdrawal time of 18 days. Please visit Draxxin.com or call 1-888-DRAXXIN for more information.
Welcome back. It's one of my family's favorites, beef stir fry. And joining me in the studio today is Chef Michelle Mussel with a great beef stir fry recipe. Michelle, tell us what you have.
Well, we're doing a stir fry, but we're doing a Thai stir fry.
A Thai.
So normally when you think of stir fries, they're usually Chinese or Japanese. We're going to do Thai today.
Little kick or what is?
It's got a little kick. It's got a little red curry paste to it.
Wow.
Not too much, but it definitely has a full flavor.
All right. Very good.
So we're going to start off. The beef we're going to use today is top sirloin.
All right.
And this recipe calls for 1 pound of top sirloin.
Excellent.
Kind of an easy cheat guide to top sirloin is that if you have it cut 1 inch thick, it's usually 1 pound.
Gotcha.
Something easy for me to remember.
Gotcha.
So when a recipe calls for 1 pound of top sirloin, it is a 1 inch thick steak.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm going to show you when I'm going to stir fry. I'm going to take my top sirloin and I'm going to cut it across the grain into thin strips.
Yep.
So I'm going to kind of show you how to do a little bit of that, and then we'll move on.
Very good.
Pull this over to my cutting board. I'm going to take my slicing knife, and I like to use really long, thin, narrow slicing knives with the grooves in.
Really?
So that way, what this does is it creates, or actually releases friction, adds friction, releases that stickiness.
Really? So it doesn't
so that the beef doesn't continue to stick to your knife.
I didn't realize that.
It's also great for potatoes.
Okay. We like potatoes too.
So I'm going to go ahead and just start here. Now, with top sirloin, because of, if you notice, all of, there's several different muscles in here.
Sure.
Don't be so concerned when I say cut it across the grain, because at different points of the top sirloin, your grain may change.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is a tender enough cut that, for the most part, you're getting it.
But what about 1/4 inch thick, 1/8 inch thick,
about
something like that?
1/4 inch thick, 1/8 to 1/4. So I've cut a few slices. Now, what you can do from here is, you see how, these are fairly long.
Yes.
Yeah, I usually cut those in half again.
I see. Yep.
So it just makes it a little easier to deal with.
To eat, yeah.
So let's move on.
Okay.
What I've done is, I'm going to remove this here, is I've already stir fried half a pound.
Okay.
What I did was I took my top sirloin and I mixed it, I kind of like put it in a Ziploc bag and massaged it with about 3 teaspoons of red curry paste.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, it's a pretty thick paste. So when I say massaging it, that's kind of what it takes to coat it all. It's not something that you just kind of drizzle over. You really kind of have to work it in.
Okay.
And that just gets even more flavor
But once
into
you've
the
got
steak.
it sliced.
Once you get it sliced, put it in a Ziploc bag or in a bowl.
Gotcha.
You just kind of have to work it in.
Good.
Okay. So I've done that. I've stir-fried my first batch.
Okay.
Now, when I say I stir-fried my first batch, I say that because you always want to stir-fry in at least 2 to 3 batches, depending on how much meat you have.
Because why?
You don't want to overcrowd your pan. When you overcrowd your pan, you actually have steam that happens and not browning.
Okay.
And browning is what gives beef and any dish great flavor.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I've got my burner's all hot and I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I'm going to do my second batch.
All right.
So here I've got another half pound
of
the rubbed top sirloin.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to go ahead
and
add
that Thai paste is something you can find in grocery stores?
Yes, you can find it in your the ethnic aisles, the Asian aisles in the grocery stores.
Yeah.
So I'm going to add that in, nice little sizzle.
All right.
And I'm going to kind of separate it all out.
Gotcha.
So that it's not crowding.
Gotcha. We may do a little crowding at home, but maybe we won't after this.
Well, and another thing you'll notice when you crowd too much, you'll see an awful lot of liquid in your pan.
I see.
Which really then dilutes any sauce you're making.
Gotcha.
So while this is browning, we're going to go ahead and start our second stage.
Okay.
And that is, I'm going to move this out of the way as well. I'm just going to slide this over a little. I'm going to add...
Is that sour cream or what is that?
This is coconut milk.
Coconut milk, really?
Yes, and it is incredible.
Okay.
And you also can find this in the Asian aisle.
Really?
Okay. And it comes in light forms and just regular full fat coconut milk.
Wow.
And to that I'm going to add 2 more teaspoons of the red Thai chili paste.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I'm going to just whisk that in.
Uh-huh.
And this is going to add just another dimension of that flavor.
Gotcha. Well, now you are getting exotic with Thai paste and coconut butter. That's not found in the Ochsner kitchen, I can promise you.
I'm going to give this a stir.
All right.
Multitasking.
Absolutely, that's impressive.
So I'm going to finish whisking this. Okay, we've got this all good to go.
Huh.
And this is almost set.
Okay.
When you're stir frying beef,
yeah,
it only takes, about 1 to 2 minutes per side.
Gotcha.
You want to just
overcook it.
Yeah, you want to do it just until it's no longer pink.
Gotcha.
But you still want that tender bite. So you're still looking for, in essence, a medium rare.
Gotcha.
Doneness.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you,
that's looking
good.
good.
It doesn't matter if you go beyond that. It doesn't matter how tender the steak is.
Yeah.
At that point, you are squeezing out any juice that it has.
Yeah, exactly. Any leftover juice. That's right. Yeah.
So we're about set here.
That's great. As we do that, you've got a number of great vegetables. I love sugar snap peas.
And this is a great blend. You can find this in your produce section.
Okay.
And it's already mixed
Frozen
up for you.
Yeah.
Well, I like fresh.
Gotcha.
Particularly in this recipe because you're going to be cooking it for a little bit.
I see.
Frozen might break down a little.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I can also tell you how to incorporate frozen.
Okay. All right.
You just have to switch up your times a little.
Gotcha.
I'm going to add this into my
add
bowl.
that to our original? You bet. Let me move that. That's perfect. Sounding great. Yeah. Nice little adjustment from the typical roasts or steaks or burgers. That's kind of a nice new.
And this is a really easy weeknight meal. That's kind of, a lot of times, your weeknight meals, you think, oh, they've got to be just, something real simple. You don't really think of high flavor.
Right.
It's like, get them fed, get them out,
right.
Kind of thing.
With just a couple
this
ingredients.
Is so simple, but it's really flavorful.
Yeah, okay.
So to my pan, I'm going to go ahead and add my coconut mixture.
Gotcha, all right. Wow. This is going to be different than most stir fries I've had.
Yes. Yeah. So now you're making it sauce.
Okay.
And I'm going to kind of stir this up a little bit and let it heat. And
just on low heat or?
Just on low, medium to low. I'm going to actually turn this down a little.
Okay, all right.
And what I'm doing by heating this is that, again, I'm bringing out the spices and the flavors of that curry paste.
Wow.
You're in essence blooming it.
Sure.
Okay. So we've got this kind of going here. I'm going to add my vegetables.
I think that's what
tone down the heat.
That's great. Yeah. It looks great too. It's colorful, kind of a.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really colorful.
So I'm going to go ahead and add these in.
So it's okay with if it bubbles a little bit and so forth. You don't want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Because what you're doing too is you're reducing this sauce a bit.
Okay.
Because you want it to be just a little thick.
Gotcha.
You want it to coat your vegetables and your beef. So I'm going to set this over.
And so how long will we?
This takes about 8 to 10 minutes to cook fresh vegetables.
Excellent.
Now I told you asked about frozen, and I can tell you how you can incorporate frozen. And basically, you're going to do this step backwards.
Oh,
okay.
Gotcha.
So here I have. I know I've got 8 to 10 minutes with these vegetables.
Right.
And then I'm going to go ahead and add back in my beef.
Gotcha.
Now, if you're going to use frozen vegetables,
start with the vegetables.
You would put your beef back in.
Oh, I see.
And add your frozen vegetables. Now, when you're using frozen vegetables, I also would recommend that you have them thawed.
Okay.
Okay.
In advance. That's what I was wondering.
Because if you use them straight from the freezer, now you're cooling everything way back down again, and then you're going to heat it back up, and it's going to overcook everything.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And then what do we do next?
So then, now that this is getting cooked down, I'm going to go ahead and add back in my beef.
Add the beef.
And really all you're doing at this point is you're reheating your beef. Your beef is cooked essentially, so you have to remember that.
That's great. And now you brought with you, as we're mixing that, a bag of rice. And I have to tell you, I've never seen bagged rice.
Well, I remembered a conversation we had in another cooking segment about all the variation, all the varieties of rice available to you now. It doesn't have to be something that you have to think too far in advance or take up that extra time. A lot of times, as quick and easy as a stir fry is, rice takes quite a while to cook. So if you didn't happen to think about it enough time, you're like, oh, I need rice with that.
So you pull a bag of frozen rice out of your freezer?
Frozen.
Wow.
You just pierce it in a few places, you microwave for 3 minutes, and you're all set.
This is perfect. And this is what we have when it's all said and done. That looks great.
Yep. And all we just did was we garnished it with a little bit more basil.
Sure.
And it's delicious.
Michelle, you always amaze us with new twists on familiar stir fry and other kind of recipes. Thanks for coming again.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. For details on this and other great beef recipes, just visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org.
Tough trailers built for tough country. Big Ben Trailers manufactures a different kind of trailer, one that's built to put up with the rough conditions found on the ranch. Rugged build using heavy gauge powder coated steel and a 2x4 rectangle tube frame. There's a 1-inch gap between the side and floor, so there's no place for water or manure to accumulate and rust. Big Ben trailers are loaded with standard features: a lever action hitch, a 3-foot escape gate, and a middle sorting gate, rhino lining along the front edges, and a receiver hitch to tow another trailer, chute, or other equipment. Tough and practical. That's Big Ben Trailers, designed and built by a working cattleman. You can rely on and trust Big Ben Trailers for their durability and convenient features. Reasonably priced for any rancher to afford. For a list of dealers and other design features, visit BigBenTrailers.com. Big Ben Trailers, built cattlemen tough. Join the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. NCBA is the premier cattle industry organization representing your best interests in Washington, D.C. and across the country.
I want to have my voice heard, and this is the strongest way I can speak it, is through NCBA. And my little voice gets a lot of magnitude with this group.
Well, I've been an NCBA member for a long time. My family thoroughly believes in giving back to the industry that they make a living from, and I've carried that on from generation to generation, and this is the organization of choice for the beef industry.
Every day, NCBA works to represent you on issues including trade, taxes, food safety and nutrition, animal welfare, and the environment.
The main reason I'm an NCBA member is to become engaged and more knowledgeable about everything that's going on in the beef industry.
It's easy to join NCBA. Just visit beefusa.org or call us at 1-866-USA-BEEF.
Welcome back. Everyone loves a steak salad, but how about one with an international twist? Joining us in the studio today is Chef Michelle Mussel. Michelle, thanks for joining us. I understand you have some kind of a East meets West steak salad. Is that right?
That's precisely what it is.
All right. Well, tell us about it.
So what I'm going to do is that the West is our coleslaw.
Okay.
Okay. We're all familiar with coleslaw.
Yep.
The East is edamame. And a little
Say
bit
that
of
again?
Edamame.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that.
They're soybeans.
Okay.
So,
let's call them soybeans.
It's much more exotic to call it edamame.
Exactly. All right. Well, tell me more.
So
this is really unique.
For this recipe, I'm going to use actually top loin steak or strip steak.
Okay. Sure.
So I've got, calls for, we're going to use a pound, but I'm just going to demonstrate one steak.
Gotcha.
And to this, I put it in a food safe plastic bag.
Okay.
It's really simple. All I'm going to do is I purchased this. This is my favorite Asian dressing. So it's already done for you.
Already done. Okay, no mixing.
Couldn't be more simple.
Okay. How much are we going to use?
This is about 1/4 cup.
Okay.
Let me just pour this in.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Zip it up and throw it in the fridge or what?
Yeah. I'm just going to close it tightly.
Okay.
Kind of give it a good massage, make sure it's hitting all the surfaces.
Gotcha.
And then I would put this in the fridge for 15 minutes, but up to 2 hours.
Okay.
Okay. After 2 hours, with a tender cut like this, with a marinade, really, you'll end up getting more of a mushy surface.
Oh, really?
It'll be kind of a mealy, crumbly texture on top.
Okay.
Because marinade really will only, a lot of people think that marinade's going to just suck right into all of the muscle and just be complete. It really only soaks in at the most 1/4 inch, ever. And if it goes beyond what it needs to flavor that, top layer, it'll start breaking down.
Gotcha. So 2
that's
hours
what we're
max.
going to avoid.
15 minutes, 2 hours. Okay.
So then, of course, for the sake of time,
I'm
going to go ahead and use it.
It's been 2 hours.
2 hours later.
Perfect. All right.
So I've got a grill pan heated up, but certainly, of course, you could use your outdoor gas grill or charcoal grill.
Whatever you prefer. All right.
And I'm going to grill this steak.
Okay.
Until it's 145 degrees internal temperature,
Yep.
medium rare.
Yep. It's perfect for us.
Nice sizzle.
Oh yeah, look at that. That sounds great.
Just let that. I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to cook this about over medium heat.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it's about medium, and you like getting it good and brown on one side and flipping it over and trying to seal in the juices.
Yes. Actually, you want to do is what you're doing is creating kind of a crust or a non-stick surface for the steak.
Gotcha.
So a lot of people really want to turn it, like to flip it a lot because it's action.
Right.
You actually want to let a steak just sit there and then develop its own basically nonstick surface.
Gotcha.
So that way you can turn it really easily.
Gotcha. Okay, good.
So we're just going to, and an easy way to check that is you just try to lift a corner.
If it sticks a little bit.
And if it sticks, put it back down.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
So while this is getting marked here, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my salad mixture.
All right.
So I've got about a pound of coleslaw mix. Now you can find this
just bagged
in your produce section, or if you if you grow vegetables, or if you have if you prefer to buy the heads of cabbage and kind of make it your own mixture. Say you don't like red cabbage. You can certainly cut it up, do it yourself.
Put it in whatever you want to.
Okay. I'm actually going to check this.
All right.
See?
Very good. Yep. Perfect. Look at that. That's great. I'm not sure I'm going to want to put it in the salad when we're done, but that's all right.
So then to my pound of coleslaw mix, I'm going to add 3/4 cup of edamame.
Or soybeans. All right.
So these you can find in your freezer section.
All right.
These have already been shelled and they've already been blanched.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right.
So what I did was I defrosted them. Try one.
Yeah.
They're really good. They're sweet. Kind of a nutty, sweet flavor. And this is all set. So I'm actually going to take this off.
All right. We're going to put that with the coleslaw.
I'm going to put this with the coleslaw. So I'm going to mix this right in.
Okay.
Add some texture, flavor, and then to this simple 3/4 cup of more of my Asian dressing.
That's the same dressing?
Same dressing.
Okay.
Okay. So just kind of drizzle that in.
Gotcha. Toss it all together,
Toss this together.
Yep. That is interesting. East meets west. And now you put this in the refrigerator and, eat it for several days and no worries, just like regular.
Well, you have to be careful with coleslaw and any lettuce. If you let it sit too long with any kind of dressing, especially with an acid in it, it's going to start breaking down. And really, if you've ever noticed, if you've ever taken home leftover salad from a restaurant or eating out and you wait and you try to eat it the next day, it's really limp and kind of watery. The same thing will happen here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is really meant to be eaten fresh.
Okay.
Okay. So then I'm going to take my steak. And for strips that I put in a salad in particular or on a sandwich, I usually cut my steak in half.
Gotcha.
Because then I'm going to carve it this way across the grain.
I see.
And I already kind of have them my bite-sized strips.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to carve this in about 1/4-inch thick slices.
Oh, yeah.
Nice medium rare.
Oh, yeah. Perfectly pink. That's nice. Just going to have to try a little bit of that, huh?
Help yourself.
That's pretty good. What kind of dressing was this that you used? Do you remember?
I used oh gosh, what was the brand? It's I always butcher the name of it.
That's good.
I want to say it's like I always want to call it Ghirardelli, but that's not it. Okay. It comes in a triangular shaped bottle.
Okay.
And they make my favorite salad dressings.
Outstanding. That is good.
So I'm going to go ahead and add this to my mixture.
We lost one. That's all right.
We'll just stick it right in there.
You bet.
This here.
Outstanding. And then you're going to toss that all up?
I'm going to toss all this together.
Look at that.
So that way then your steak actually gets a little bit more dressing on it.
Yeah, because it wasn't really as strong as I anticipated. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, it's flavored, but it's not an overpowering flavor.
Right.
That's good.
So then.
And then what else do you have here?
So what we've got. So I've tossed all of this.
Okay.
So over here you've got our plate.
That's our finished
product. And that's our one serving here, and we've garnished it with some crushed up honey roasted peanuts.
Okay.
Kind of add a salty, sweet, crunchy garnish on top.
I'm going to try a piece of this if I can get a piece of steak with it a little bit, huh? And I better get one of those edamames.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What? Well, that's a pretty good combination.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised. That's really good. Thank you for joining us.
Another one to make for the family.
Absolutely. This is great, and they're going to be impressed that I know what an edamame is. For details on this recipe and other great beef recipes, visit our website at cattlemantocattleman.org. As a beef industry, we need to focus on the consumer. For that to happen, it helps to get to know people who deal with consumers every day. Our reporter Sharon Alseth recently visited with Chef John Doherty of Wolfpack Hospitality to gather some of his perspectives.
I have Having served for 23 years as executive chef for the famous Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, John Doherty is now building a new life as a restaurant entrepreneur. His experiences have given him tremendous insight into what it takes to produce success.
In building a great product at the Waldorf and making that operation successful, first thing I did, as any chef will do, is focus on quality of product. When we find a product that we can count on, that we don't have to keep checking, and we don't have to keep focusing on, and we don't have to keep calling about, you lock onto that and you stick with it. And if you have to pay a little bit more for it, you will. You have to charge it, but the value has to come across in the end to the customer.
Chef Doherty found an answer to quality early on in certified Angus beef products.
And we put Prime certified Angus into our restaurant. Our covers grew 20% during a recession. The product has helped me become successful. I love the product.
In today's economy, it's important for restaurants to focus on what brought them success in the first place.
Especially right now with the economy that we're in, every restaurant owner is saying to his chef, reduce your cost. And the easiest way to reduce your cost is to reduce the quality, just buy cheaper. But that's the worst thing you can do when you're trying to build a business. And when your business is down, right now is when you need to make the quality statement. People are looking for value. So your customers are coming in, they're gonna spend less money on food, they're gonna spend it less often, but when they do spend it, they want that value. They still want what they had before when they paid more for it. So we as chefs have to find ways of serving food that's equally as delicious, delivering that value of product, and having it be less expensive.
By listening to their patrons, restaurant owners know there is no substitute for quality.
You've got to find ways of improving the quality of that product and the consistency. Because if a customer comes through a restaurant one time, and we all know this, and the food is great, and you recommend it, and you bring people back, and you come back and you're disappointed, you're embarrassed, you don't feel good about spending the money, and you more than likely will not go back. So if you want to build a business, it's built on quality of product, quality of service, and consistency.
Visiting a ranch to learn more about the source of his products was a way to both learn and inform.
I have a much better understanding myself now where it all comes from, and I was able to share my values and what was important to me, which is what is important to the end user, to the ranchers, to help them understand that the efforts that they're going through to produce a high quality, consistent product is worth it.
I'm Sharon Alseth reporting for NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman.
What great insight from a critical segment within our industry. Our friend Baxter Black is up next. Don't go away.
You know, I didn't think I could afford to vaccinate for scours. Then my vet told me about Guardian vaccine. Guardian offers the most complete coverage of anti-scours vaccine. And now Guardian can protect my calves against E. coli up to 6 months prior to calving.
It pays to vaccinate with Guardian Scours vaccine.
Thanks to Guardian, I have healthier calves and healthier profits.
Profit, confidence, value. That's what you get with Tri-Merit, a USDA process-verified program brought to your operation by Global Animal Management Incorporated. Tri-Merit's data management system certifies traditional health processes, as well as verifies age and source of individual and groups of animals. To learn more about how Tri-Merit can play a positive role in your operation, visit mygamonline.com.
From fresh tomatoes to potatoes and chicken to beef, we're as picky about our quality ingredients as you are. Because that's what we're made of.
Discover a great roundup for beef producers. Now, Boehringer Ingelheim Vetmedica Incorporated has rounded up the top brands of animal health products. You bet your boots you won't find more ways to protect your cattle. So trust the leader to protect your cattle. Trust Boehringer Ingelheim. Talk to your Boehringer Ingelheim animal health representative and discover how we can help your operation.
Beef Quality Assurance, BQA is a program designed to ensure the consumer that your beef is safe and wholesome and of the highest quality, and it lets the buyers of your calves know that you know what you're doing. It's consumer friendly and can be a big part of giving them a great dining experience. So check it out at bqa.org and see what it takes to get involved in your state. Whether you got 15 cows or 1,500, it's the right thing to do.
Trust. Out here, it's that rare combination of reliability, integrity, and the peace of mind that comes with having both. After 20 years of making hitches, the B&W turnover ball has become the most trusted gooseneck hitch in the country. Why is that important? Because trust is not only hard to earn, it's hard to find. The turnover ball gooseneck hitch by B&W. Trusted.
I like vegetarians. I like organic farmers. I like mule people, purebred breeders, healers, bankers, equine practitioners, county agents, cat lovers, and cowboy poets. I pick on them all, of course, because they all at one time or another hold their hand up in front of their face and dare me. Bet you can't hit my hand before I move it. The most frequent subject of my poems and stories is cowboys. Unfortunately, it's like shooting myself in the foot. I've probably written 100 stories about cowboys getting bucked off, run over, bit, kicked, stomped, throwed, butted, drugged, and keel-hauled, for every one story about some environmentalist or animal rights lunatic. I get an email attack for branding my calves on a TV show, a critical letter, because I imply that farm salmon is as good for your heart as wild salmon. And these are all from people who take themselves quite seriously. But the cowboys, they just say, you know that story where the cow jumps in the pickup with the guy? That happened to me too. Which just goes to show, as Jim used to say, that you don't have to be humble to be humiliated. Now, how could you not like a vegetarian? It would be like not liking a monk or a Libertarian Party candidate or a dairyman raising Jersey cows. I mean, you gotta hand it to them. They're swimming upstream, living life the hard way. But I admire them because they have to be true believers. And how about organic farming? It's just some hard-working folks that have found a new niche. My world is plumb full of hard-working people, all trying to keep the wolf from the door and be a good neighbor. Sometimes life's hard, but it doesn't mean that you can't find a pothole of fun, or goofy, or silly, or kind, or caring, or poignant as you trudge along. Wade through them, friends, and track a little bit along the trail. Makes it easier for the rest of us. This is Baxter Black from out there.
Comprehensive, practical, powerful. Now's the time to put the power of DNA to work in your herd with the comprehensive Identity Profile. The inside information from Identity can help you make more confident replacement heifer and herd sire selection decisions, add marketability to your feeder cattle, make faster genetic progress, and more. The best time to get started is when you're already working cattle, during branding, weaning, or bull soundness exams. Get started today. Visit iGenity.com or call 1-877-IGENITY to put the power of DNA to work in your herd. Get ready for the Rocky Mountain Roundup. Join the 2011 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show in the city that gets 300 days of sun a year, Denver, Colorado. It's not only a great opportunity to connect with your fellow cattlemen, but you will also attend important industry meetings, find out about the newest technologies, and get all the information you need for a successful year. We'll see you in Denver at the Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show, February 2nd through the 5th. For more information, visit beefusa.org.
You
can tell a lot about a cattleman by his cattle. Purina AccuRation feed with intake modifying technology gives cattle that uniform muscular look. It maximizes forage utilization and controls intake based on forage quality and cattle needs. It reduces labor, saves time, and helps cattle perform to their highest genetic potential, boosting your net return. Available in AccuRation Cattle Limiter, Super Lick, Super Block, and Impact Starter. AccuRation feeds from Purina Mills, building better cattle.
We love to see the farm and family photos we receive each week from all across the country. Here are this week's Legacy Photos. Now keep sending us those photos. Just visit our website at cattleman2cattleman.org. Thanks for joining us again on this week's edition of NCBA's Cattleman to Cattleman. We'll see you right back here next week on RFD TV.